Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do a short and playful backbending sequence. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to use the chair, and let's place the chair at the front end of the mat facing us. We'll be working on Urdhva Mukha Svanasana first, the upward facing dog pose. Place your hands on either sides of the chair and then step back, and we'll do Ardha Uttanasana first, the half intense stretch pose. So it's somewhere between a downward facing dog pose and our standing forward bend. Firm up the legs, firm up the arms, so arms and legs are straight. And then we'll look forward to the hands, move your body forward, and in order to move the chest forward, it can be helpful to bend the elbows, move the rib cage forward, and then squeeze the upper arms against the side ribs. The pelvis comes forward to the forearms. Watch that you're not too far back here because the weight sits very heavily in the lumbar spine and it's uncomfortable. So walk forward enough that you feel your pelvis can come to the forearms and drive the hands into your chair to lift away from the floor. So you're not collapsed here. So you drive the arms, hands into the chair to lift your chest. Then let's pull back, straighten the spine. The legs stay straight the whole time. So again, as we come forward to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, look forward. The legs are staying straight. However, the elbows can bend somewhat as you scoop the chest through. Pelvic bones to the forearms. Straighten the elbows in. Press the shoulder tips back. And again, pull the hips back. So we're going to do a few repetitions like that. The head of the thighs press back. And then come forward again. The chest scoops through. Drive the arms and the hands into the chair as if you're trying to push the chair firmly down into the floor to rebound the chest up. Then pull the hips back. Press the thighs back, lengthen the waist. Again, forward, upward facing dog pose. Now, as you lift your chest, shoulder blades engaged into the back body. Yeah, so they're not sticking back behind you. Drive the lower shoulder blades or press the lower shoulder blades into your back. Then pull back again. Press your thighs back. Make sure you're breathing smoothly. Again, upward facing dog pose. Legs are firm. As you move the pelvis forward to the forearms, zip the navel up. Tailbone down. Then pull back the hips. Now let's go on the breath. Inhale. Upward facing dog. Look up. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Upward. Exhale. Downward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And then we'll give the arms an adequate rest. So you can walk forward. If your hamstrings are supple, your lower back feels okay, you can rest your forearms on the seat of the chair, rest your head down. If your hamstrings are somewhat stiff, bring your forearms onto the top of the seat. So find what suits you to rest the head, rest the heart, and get steady in your breath. Then when you're ready, raise the head up. You can press the hands into the seat of the chair and come to stand all the way up. Let's now turn the chair around, and you can have the chair more in the middle of the mat. You will need a yoga chair for this. We need a chair with no back so that we can fit the body through. We're going to do Salabhasana and Dhanurasana with the abdomen on the seat of the chair. So if you haven't got a padded seat, you might like to put a blanket on the seat of the chair. But facing the back of the seat, come down onto your knees, and then we feed the body through this way. So then we're going to bring the abdomen onto the chair. So the lower ribs, the pelvic bones, the abdomen on the chair. Now, if you're too far back towards the leg side, it's going to be very difficult for you to lift the legs up off the floor. So bring yourself forward enough. The pubis is on the seat. As you press your hands onto the seat of the chair, then you should feel that you're able to access the lift of the legs. Let's bring the legs together. And as you press the hands onto the legs of the chair, move the chest forward, roll the shoulders back, and then raise the legs up. Now, as you raise the legs, don't think about height so much. Think about length. Can you lengthen the legs from the pelvis to the wall behind you? Internally rotate your legs. The inner thighs are rolling up towards the ceiling. Perhaps you can separate the heels to help that action. And then lower the legs, have a moment of reprieve. And you might need to navigate. Is it going to be better for you to come forward a little more? Do you need to move back a little more? Now, as we raise the legs again, take your hands up higher onto the arms of the chair. Raise the legs, roll the shoulders back, and then if you're confident, you can stretch the arms back alongside the body, turn the palms up. Then you can try swinging the arms out wide to shoulder height. And then forward in front of you, as long as you're not going to fall forward. And then back out to the sides, back out behind you, hold the chair, lower the legs. And let's come down, have a bit of a rest, knees to the floor. And you can rest the forearms on the seat, forward on your forearms, have your knees apart. Take a moment to recover the breath if you've become puffed. Now we're going to come back through the chair. Again, bringing the abdomen onto the chair and the pelvis as well. So lower ribs, pelvis, pubis on the chair. Now, can you bend one leg and reach your heel to the top of the chair? And try the other leg. It may not matter so much that you're touching the chair. So if the knees don't like bending so much, at least work with that bend. One leg, then lift the knee up, and then other leg. So you bend the knee, whether you reach the top of the chair or not, lift the knee up, and then lower. Then use your hands on the chair, push into the chair, lift your chest, raise the legs up, bend the knees. Now the feet can be apart, knees are apart. Either reach your heels to the top of the chair or in that direction. So if the knees don't like bending, perhaps the knees are more at a right angle, but lift the knees up. Press the feet up towards the ceiling. If you can bend the knees enough, reach your hands back. Catch hold of the ankles. You might need to take your feet on either sides of the arms of the chair. Then pull the heels back away from the buttocks to lift your chest up higher. So the strength of the legs, the action of pulling the heels away from the buttocks causes the chest to lift more. Roll the shoulder tips back and keep your breath steady. And then let's slowly come out of the pose and slide back down, knees to the floor, buttocks to the heels, and rest. Transitioning to the next pose now, we're going to move our mat into the wall. So let's come to stand up. Put your chair to the side, mat to the wall, chair to the wall. And we'll do a variation of Urdhva Dhanurasana, the upward facing bow pose. However, we're going to start with the shoulder blades and head on the seat of the chair. So we start, you can sit on your chair, then take your hips off the chair, bring your shoulders, shoulder blades and head onto the seat of the chair. Watch you're not dropping the hips. Keep the outer hips lifted. The hands are holding the arms of the chair, and we're going to press the hands into the chair as we lift up off the chair. So you can walk the feet in, keep the feet parallel, inhale. Drive the inner feet down as you exhale. Press the hands to the chair, lift up, arch your back, look back towards the wall, roll the elbows in. So we're not anticipating straightening the arms here, but roll the elbows in. Pressurize the inner feet down, roll the inner knees down, and then come down. Try and control your descent. Shoulder blades, back of the head onto the seat of the chair. We pause before repeating. Inhale, and we press into the chair as we exhale. Lift up. Perhaps you just come onto the crown of the head, but if you can lift further, you push away from the floor, you push away from the chair. Roll the elbows in so the triceps roll up towards the ceiling. Pressurize the inner feet down. Direct your tailbone towards your knees. And then again, come down, slowly lower yourself down. And then as we come out of this, let's bring the buttocks to the floor and we'll sit for a moment. Simple cross legs, neutral spine, neutral gaze, shoulders relaxed. If we feel we can go further, we're going to lie on our back and have our hands holding the arms of the chair to lift into Urdhva Dhanurasana. So we lie down, bring the head just between the legs of the chair. The hands are holding the legs of the chair. Establish the positioning of your feet, hip width feet, broaden the toes, broaden the balls of the feet. And perhaps it's difficult for you to lift up, in which case you lie on a bolster and the height of the bolster might help you to lift up. Inhale. Drive the feet down as you lift the hips up. Exhale, press into the chair. Perhaps you come onto the crown of the head and that's it. But if you can go further, press the hands into the chair, lift up the body, roll the outer hips up as the inner knees roll down. And you get steady. And here, if you can, you straighten the arms, but lift the armpit chest. Come down, bend the elbows all the way down, and then you can rest. It can be helpful to the lower back as you rest here to keep your knees bent. So the feet can go as wide as the mat. Roll the knees in against each other, and the lower back can settle there. Roll over to the side, come to sit, and we'll come onto the knees to stretch forward. Big toes touch, knees apart, Adho Mukha Virasana, downward facing hero pose. Buttocks back and down, chest forward. We observe the lower back lengthen and broaden. Keep the buttocks back and down, tailbone gently curling down. And then as you're ready, come to sit up. The videos on YouTube are usually very short and they're not a full sequence of poses that I would teach in a class setting. If you would like that full experience of a class, please check out my website. I've got a video library there with over 350 classes, full-length classes. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.